Welcome back, Mishpakai. Welcome back to the Road Trip Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers, Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, aunties, uncles, grandmas and grandpas, everybody in the house, Mishpakai. That's right, man. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to each and every single one of you, your homes, your dwelling places, right, where you stay at. Your children, your loved ones, your friends, and your pets, man. Your fur babies, that's right, man. All their family members, everybody. That's right, Mishpakai. All right. All praises to the Most High. All praises to Yahweh. Right. All praises to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Glory to Yahweh Shai. That's right. Our King, High Priest, brother, first fruit. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh. Wisdom. That's right. Strength. My love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of you. All right. Thanks for being here with me on the Shabbat. On the Shabbat morning. Right. Getting ready to cook some food. Get some breakfast. Eating. All right. Looking forward to that. How's everybody feeling? You doing all right? Hope so. Hope you slept well and that you have something good planned for the day, something relaxing. You know, don't do too much. Not today anyway. All right. Save it for tomorrow. All right. So, you know, you have plenty that you can wait to do tomorrow. All right. I think that's okay. Anyway, we're going to be back here in the book of Jasher. All right. That's where we're at right now. Book of Jasher. This is going to be chapter 65 starting off. I don't know how far we're going to go with it, though. You know, we could go all the way to 67, or we can stop at 66. I don't know. Right. So you have a few moments if you want to follow along with me and read. That'd be awesome. Give you a few moments. Okay. All right. You know, I was trying to get outside today, catch some of this sunlight. You know, I've been in the crib, in the house, a lot this past week, but for some of it for good reasons, trying to prepare for this career coming up, this career change. But other than that, I need to get outside and catch some sun while we got it. All right, maybe take the drone out, fly the drone, and get some shots or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, enough talking. I think we're good to go. No further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the book of Jasher, right? Yafar Hayashar. Let's get ready to start. All right, chapter 65. Let's begin. Sephar Hayashar. Look at me messing up. Look at that. That's crazy. Let's go. All right, chapter 65, and it reads, "And it came to pass after these things that all the counselors of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and all the elders of Mizraim assembled and came before the king and bowed down to the ground, and they sat before him. And the counselors and the elders of Mizraim spoke unto the king, saying, Behold, the people of the children of Yasharel are greater and mightier than we are, and you know all the evil which they did unto us in the road when they returned from battle, and you have also seen their strong power. For this power is unto them from their fathers. But a few men stood up against the people numerous as the sand, and smote them at the edge of the sword. And of themselves not one has fallen, so that if they had been numerous, they would have then utterly destroyed them. Now therefore, give us counsel what to do with them, until we gradually destroy them from among us, lest they become too numerous for us in the land. For if the children of Yasharel should increase in the land, they will become an obstacle to us. And if any war should happen to take place, they, with their great strength, will join our enemy against us and fight against us, destroy us from the land, and go away from it. So the king answered the elders of Mizraim and said unto them, This is the plan advised against Yasharel, from which we will not depart. Behold, in the land are Pithom and Ramses, cities unfortified against battle. It behooves you and us to build them and to fortify them. Now therefore, go you also and act cunningly toward them, and proclaim a voice in Mizraim and in Goshen at the command of the king, saying, All you men of Mizraim, Goshen, Pathros, and all their inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle. Who among you of all Mizraim, of the children of Yasharel, and of all the inhabitants of the cities are willing to build with us, will each have his wages given to him daily at the king's order. So go you first, and do cunningly, and gather yourselves, and come to Pithom and Ramses to build. And while you are building, cause a proclamation of this king to be made throughout Mizraim every day at the command of the king. And when some of the children of Yasharel will come to build with you, and will give them their wages daily for a few days. And after they will have built with you for the daily hire, drag yourselves away from them daily, one by one, in secret, and then you will rise up and become their taskmasters and officers, and you will leave them afterward to build without wages, and should they refuse, then force them with all your might to build. And if you do this, page flip. If you do this, it will be well with us to strengthen our land against the children of Yasharel, for on account of the fatigue of the building and the work of the children of Yasharel will decrease, because you will deprive them from their wives day by day. And all the elders of Mizraim heard the counsel of the king, and the counsel seemed good in their eyes, and in the eyes of the servants of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all of Mizraim. And they did according to the word of the king. And all the servants went away from the king, and they caused a proclamation to be made in all Mizraim, and Tachpanaks, and in Goshen, and in all the cities which surrounded Mizraim, saying, You have seen what the children of Esau and Ishmael did to us, who came to war against us and wished to destroy us. Now therefore the king commanded us to fortify the land, to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle, if they should again come against us. Whosoever of you from all Mizraim and from the children of Yasharel will come to build with us, he will have his daily wages given by the king, as his command is unto us. And when Mizraim and all the children of Yasharel heard all that the servants of Pharaoh had spoken, there came from the Egyptians and the children of Yasharel to build with the servants of Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramses, but none of the children of Levi came with their brethren to build. And all the servants of Pharaoh and his princes came at first with deceit to build, with all Yasharel as daily hired laborers, and they gave to Yasharel their daily hire at the beginning. And the servants of Pharaoh built with all Yasharel, and were employed in the work with Yasharel for a month. And at the end of the month, all the servants of Pharaoh began to withdraw secretly from the people of Yasharel daily. And Yasharel went on with the work at that time, but they then received their daily hire, because some of the men of Mizraim were yet carrying on the work with Yasharel at that time. Therefore the Egyptians gave Yasharel their hire in those days, in order that they, the Egyptians, their fellow workmen, might also take the pay for their labor. And at the end of a year and 4 months, all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Yasharel, so that the children of Yasharel were left alone engaged in the work. And after all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Yasharel, they returned and became oppressors and officers over them. And some of them stood over the children of Yasharel as taskmasters, to receive from them all that they gave them for the pay of their labor. And the Egyptians did in this manner to the children of Yasharel day by day, in order to afflict in their work. And all the children of Yasharel were alone engaged in the labor, and the Egyptians refrained from giving any pay to the children of Yasharel from that time forward. And when some of the men of Yasharel refused to work on account of the wages not being given to them, then the exactors and the servants of Pharaoh oppressed them, and smote them with heavy blows, and made them return by force to labor with their brethren. Thus did all the Egyptians unto the children of Yasharel all the days. And all the children of Yasharel were greatly afraid of the Egyptians in this matter. And all the children of Yasharel returned and worked alone without pay. And the children of Yasharel built Pithom and Ramses, and all the children of Yasharel did the work, some making bricks and some building. And the children of Yasharel built and fortified all the land of Mizraim and its walls. And the children of Yasharel were engaged in work for many years, until the time came when the Most High remembered them and brought them out of Mizraim. But the children of Levi were not employed in the work with their brethren of Yasharel from the beginning until the day of their going out of Mizraim. For all the children of Levi knew that the Egyptians had spoken all these words with deceit to the Israelites, to the Yahudim. Therefore the children of Levi refrained from approaching to the work with their brethren. And the Egyptians did not direct their attention to make the children of Levi work afterwards, since they had not been with their brethren at the beginning. Therefore the Egyptians left them alone. And the hands of the men men of Mizraim were directed with continued severity against the children of Yasharel in that work. And the Egyptians made the children of Yasharel work with rigor. And the Egyptians embittered the lives of the children of Yasharel with hard work, and mortar and bricks, and also in all manner of work in the field. And the children of Yasharel called Melo, the king of Mizraim, Meror, king of Mizraim, because in his days the Egyptians had embittered their lives with all manner of work. And all the work wherein the Egyptians made the children of Yasharel labor, they exacted with rigor in order to afflict the children of Yasharel. But the more they afflicted them, the more they increased and grew, and the Egyptians were grieved because of the children of Yasharel. That's the end of chapter 65. All right, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Mishpachah, are you with me? All right, let's continue. Let's get some more of this. All right, let's go. All right, keep your scrolls out. All right. All right, let's continue. Chapter 66, and it reads, At that time died Hadad, the son of Bedad, king of Edom, and Samlah of Mesrekah, from the country of the children of the east, reigned in his place. In the 13th year of the reign of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, which was the 125th year of the Israelites, the Mizraim going down into the Yahudim, Salake, going down into Mizraim, Samlah had reigned over Edom 18 years. And when he had reigned, he drew out his host to go and fight against Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, and the children of Chittim, because they had made war against Angeas, king of Africa, and they destroyed his whole army. But he did not engage with them, for the children of Esau prevented him, saying, he was their brother. So Samlah listened to the voice of the children of Esau, and turned back with all his forces to the land of Edom, and did not proceed to fight against Zepho, the son of Eliphaz. All right. And Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, heard this thing, saying, Samlah, king of Edom, has resolved to fight the children of Chittim, and afterward he will come to fight against Mizraim. And when the Egyptians heard this matter, they increased the labor upon the children of Yasharel, lest the Israelites, the Yahudim, right, should do unto them as they did unto them in the war with the children of Esau in the days of Hadad. So the Egyptians said unto the children of Yasharel, Hasten, and do your work, and finish your task, and strengthen the land, lest the children of Esau your brethren should come to fight against us, for on your account will they come against us. And the children of Yasharel did the work of the men of Mizraim day by day. And the Egyptians afflicted the children of Yasharel in order to lessen them in the land. But as the Egyptians increased the labor upon the children of Yasharel, so did the children of Yasharel increase and multiply, and all Mizraim was filled with the children of Yasharel. And in the 125th year of Yasharel's going down into Mizraim, all the Egyptians saw that their counsel did not succeed against Yasharel, but that they increased and grew, and the land of Mizraim and the land of Goshen were filled with the children of Yasharel. So all the elders of Mizraim and its wise men came before the king and bowed down to him and sat before him. And all the elders of Mizraim and the wise men thereof said unto the king, May the king live forever. You did counsel us to counsel against the children of Yasharel, and we did unto them according to the word of the king. But in proportion to the increase of the labor, so do they increase and grow in the land. And behold, the whole country is filled with them. Now therefore our Adon and king, the eyes of all Mizraim are upon you to give them advice with your wisdom, by which they may prevail over Yasharel to destroy them, or to diminish them from the land. And the king answered them, saying, Give your counsel in this matter, that we may know what to do unto them. And an officer, one of the king's counselors, whose name was Job, from Mesopotamia in the land of Uz, answered the king, saying, If it please the king, let him hear the counsel of his servant. And the king said unto him, Speak. And Job spoke before the king, the princes, and before all the elders of Mizraim, saying, Behold, the counsel of the king which he advised formerly respecting the labor of the children of Yasharel is very good, and you must not remove from them that labor forever. For this is the advice counseled by which you may lessen them, if it seems good to the king to afflict them. Behold, we have feared war for a long time, and we said, when Yasharel becomes fruitful in the land, they will drive us from the land if a war should take place. If it please the king, let a royal decree go out, and let it be written in the laws of Mizraim, which will not be revoked, that every male child born to the Israelites, right, the Yahudim, his blood will be spilled upon the ground. And by your doing this, when all the male children of Yasharel will have died, the evil of their wars will cease. Let the king do so, and send for all the Hebrew midwives, and order them in this matter to execute it. So the thing pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Job. And the king sent for the Hebrew midwives to be called, in which the name of one was Sephra, and the name of the other was Puah. And the midwives came before the king and stood in his presence. And the king said unto them, When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you will kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she will live. But if you will not do this thing, then I will burn you up, and all your houses with fire. But the midwives feared Yahweh, and did not hearken to the king of Mizraim, nor to his words. And when a Hebrew woman brought out to the midwife son or daughter, then did the midwife do all that was necessary to the child, and let it live. Thus did the midwives all the days. And this thing was told to the king. And he sent and called for the midwives, and he said to them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the children alive? And the midwives answered and spoke together before the king, saying, Let not the king think that the Hebrew women are as the Egyptian women, for all the children of Yasharel are vigorous, and before the midwife comes to them, they are delivered. And as for us, your handmaids, for many days no Hebrew woman has brought out upon us, for all the Hebrew women are their own midwives, because they are vigorous. And Pharaoh heard their words, and believed them in this matter. And the midwives went away from the king, and Yahweh dealt well with them, and the people multiplied and waxed exceedingly. Right, we read that in the Old Testament. That's the end of chapter 66. We read that in the Old Testament, and Yahweh was very, very proud of them, right? And he honored those women, and they, got very much riches, and they had a lot of children, and they were very fruitful because, they kept the Yahudim, the Israelite children, the Israelite boys alive, right? And during this time, you got to remember, this is around the time, of Moshe, okay? So that's the end of chapter 66. Let's see. Are we going to get 67? Let's see. We already did, 65, 66? Yeah, we'll get 67. It's a long one. But we'll go ahead and knock this one out. All right, let's do it. Okay, chapter 67. All right, let's read. 67, and it reads, There was a man in the land of Mizraim of the seed of Levi, whose name was Amram, the son of Kehas, the son of Levi, the son of Yasharel. And this man went and took a wife, namely Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, his father's sister. And she was 126 years old, and he came unto her. And the woman conceived and bore a daughter, and she called her name Miriam, because in those days the Egyptians had embittered the lives of the children of Yasharel. And she conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Aharon. For in the days of the conception Pharaoh began to spill the blood of the male children of Yasharel. In those days died Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, king of Chittim, and Janeas reigned in his stead. And the time that Zepho reigned over the children of Chittim was 50 years, and he died, and was buried in the city of Nabna, in the land of Chittim. And Janeas, one of the mighty men of the children of Chittim, reigned after him, and he reigned 50 years. And it was after the death of the king of Chittim that Balaam, the son of Beor, fled from the land of Chittim, and he went and came to Mizraim, to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim. And Pharaoh received him with great honor, for he had heard of his wisdom, and he gave him presents, and made him for a counselor, and aggrandized him. And Balaam dwelt in Mizraim in honor with all his nobles of the king. And the nobles exalted him, because they all coveted to learn his wisdom. And in the 113th year of Yasharel going down to Mizraim, Pharaoh dreamed that he was sitting upon his kingly throne, and lifted up his eyes, and saw an old man standing before him. And there were scales in the hands of the old man, such scales as are used by merchants. And the old man took the scales and hung them before Pharaoh. And the old man took all the elders of the Mizraim and all its nobles and great men, and he tied them together and put them in one scale. And he took a milk kid and put it into the other scale, and the kid preponderated over all. And Pharaoh was astonished at this dreadful vision, why the kid should preponderate over all. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And Pharaoh rose up early in the morning and called all his servants and related to them the dream. And the men were greatly afraid. And the king said to all his wise men, Interpret, I pray you, the dream which I dreamed, that I may know it. And Balaam the son of Beor answered the king and said unto him, This means nothing else but a great evil that will spring up against Mizraim in the latter days. For a son will be born to Jasher, who will destroy all Mizraim and its inhabitants, and bring out the Israelites from Mizraim with a mighty hand. Now therefore, O king, take counsel upon this matter, that you may destroy the hope of the children of Jasher and their expectation before this evil arises against Mizraim. And the king also unto Balaam. And the king said unto Balaam, And what will we do unto Jasher? Surely after a certain manner did we at first counsel against them, and could not prevail over them. Now therefore, give you also advice against them, by which we may prevail over them. And Balaam answered the king, saying, Send now and call your 2 counselors, and we will see what their advice is upon the matter, and afterward your servant will speak. And the king sent and called his 2 counselors, Reuel and the Midianite, and Job the Uzite. And they came and sat before the king. And the king said to them, Behold, you have both heard the dream which I have dreamed, and the interpretation thereof. Now, therefore, give counsel and know, and see what is to be done to the children of Jasher, whereby we may prevail over them before their evil will spring up against us. And Reuel the Midianite answered the king and said, May the king live forever. If it seems good to the king, let him desist from the Hebrews, and leave them, and let him not stretch out his hand against them. For these are they whom the Most High chose in days of old, and took as the lot of his inheritance from among all the nations of the earth, and the kings of the earth. And who is there that stretched his hand against them with impunity, of whom their Elohiah was not avenged? Surely you know that when Abraham went down to Mizraim, Pharaoh the former king of Mizraim saw Sarah his wife, and took her for a wife, because Abraham said, She is my sister. For he was afraid lest the men of Mizraim should slay him on account of his wife. And when the king of Mizraim had taken Sarah, then Yahweh smote him and his household with heavy plagues, until he restored unto Abraham his wife. Then was he healed. And Abimelech the Gerarite, king of the Philistines, Yahweh punished on account of Sarah, wife of Abraham, in stopping up every womb from man to beast. When their Elohiah came to Abimelech in the dream of night, and terrified him, in order that he might restore to Abraham Sarah, whom he had taken, and afterward all the people of Gerar were punished on account of Sarah. And Abraham prayed to his Elohiah for them, and he was entreated of him, and he healed them. And Abimelech feared all this evil that came upon him and his people, and he returned to Abraham his wife Sarah, and gave her with many gifts. He did also to Isaac, when he had driven him from Gerar, and Yahweh had done wonderful things to him, that all the waters courses to Gerar were dried up, and their productive trees did not bring out. 35. Until Abimelech of Gerar and Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Pichol, the captain of his host, went to him, and they bent and bowed down before him to the ground, and they requested of him to supplicate for them. And he prayed to the Most High for them, and the Most High was entreated of him, and he healed them. Yaakov also, the plain man, was delivered through his integrity from the hand of his brother Esau, and the hand of Laban the Syrian, his mother's brother, who had sought his life, likewise from the hand of all the kings of Canaan, who had come together against him and his children to destroy them. And the Most High delivered them out of the hands that they turned upon them, and smote them. For who had ever stretched out his hand against them with impunity? Who? Surely Pharaoh the former, your father's father, raised Joseph, the son of Yaakov, above all the princes of the land of Mizraim, when he saw his wisdom, for through his wisdom he rescued all the inhabitants of the land from the famine. After which he ordered Yaakov and his children to come down to Mizraim, in order that through their virtue the land of Mizraim and the land of Goshen might be delivered from the famine. Now therefore, if it seems good in your eyes, cease from destroying the children of Yasharel. But if it be not your will that they will dwell in Mizraim, send them out from here, that they may go to the land of Canaan, the land where their ancestors sojourned.
And when Pharaoh heard these words of Jethro, he was very angry with him. He actually should have listened to him. That was the smartest decision he could have ever made. But pay attention. So that he rose with shame from the king's presence and went to Midian, his land, and took Joseph's stick with him. And the king said to Job the Uzite, "What say you, Job? And what is your advice respecting the Hebrews?" What is it? So Job said to the king, "Behold, all the inhabitants of the land are in your power. Let the king do as it seems good in his eyes." And the king said unto Balaam, "What do you say, Balaam? Speak your word that we may hear it." And Balaam said to the king, "Of all that the king has counseled against the Hebrews will they be delivered, and the king will not be able to prevail over them with any counsel. For if you think to lessen them by the flaming fire, you cannot prevail over them, for surely their Elohim delivered Abraham their father from Ur of the Chaldeans. And if you think to destroy them with the sword, surely Isaac their father was delivered from it, and a ram was placed in his stead. And if with the hard and rigorous labor you think to lessen them, you will not prevail even in this, for their father Yaakov served Laban in all manner of his hard work and prospered. Now therefore, O king, hear my words, for this is the counsel which is counseled against them, by which you will prevail over them, from which you should not depart. If it pleases the king, let him order all the children which will be born from this day forward to be thrown into the water. For by this can you wipe away their name. For none of them, nor of their fathers, were tried in this manner. And the king heard the words of Balaam, and the thing pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the words of Balaam. And the king ordered a proclamation to be issued, and a law to be made throughout the land of Mizraim, saying, Every male child born to the Hebrews from this day forward will be thrown into the water. And Pharaoh called unto all his servants, saying, Go now and seek throughout the land of Goshen, where the children of Yasharel are, and see that every son born to the Hebrews will be cast into the river, but every daughter you will let live. And when the children of Yasharel heard this thing which Pharaoh had commanded to cast their male children into the river, some of the people separated from their wives, and others adhered to them. And from that day forward, when their time of delivery arrived for those women of Yasharel who had remained with their husbands, they went to the field to deliver, and they brought out in the field, and left their children upon the field, and returned home. And the Most High, who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them, sent one of his ministering angels, which are in heaven, to wash every child in water, and anoint and swathe it, and put into its hands 2 smooth stones, from one of which it sucked milk, and from the other honey. And he caused its hair to grow to its knees, by which it might cover itself, to cover it, and to cleave to it, through its compassion for it. And when Yahweh had compassion over them, and had desired to multiply them upon the face of the land, he ordered his earth to receive them, to be preserved therein until the time of their growing up, after which the earth opened its mouth, and vomited them out, and they sprouted out from the city like the herb of the earth, as the grass of the forest. And they returned, each to his family and to his father's house, and they remained with them. Okay, I'm going to interject. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. 1 second there. Whoa. Okay, so the Israelites, the Yahudim that were faithful to the Most High Yahweh, and feared not, and kept their children. They stayed together. They didn't leave their husbands. They didn't leave their wives. They stayed together, and they had the children the full term. They went out in the fields, and they left their children in the fields. And the Most High Yahweh, through supernatural ways, through his mysterious ways, he gave them 2 stones. One they drank milk, and the other one they drank honey from, that nourished the kids, that nourished the children. Their hair grew long down and covered their body up like cloaks, like garments. And the ground, it said the ground sucked them in and pulled them in. And in the ground, they stayed there, and basically like an incubator, and they grew until the point of time where they could walk out of the ground. It said it vomited them out and it spit them out, and they walked back to their father's homes as, I guess, children or teenagers past the age where death was required of them, I guess. But you see what it's saying there? That was all the way up until verse 56. Let's continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but that was interesting, right? Very supernatural, very amazing. All right. Verse 57, and it says, And the babies of the children of Jasher were upon the earth like the herb of the field through Yahweh's grace to them. And when all the Egyptians saw this thing, they went out, each to his field with his yoke of oxen and his plowshare, and they plowed it up, as one plows the earth at seed time. And when they plowed, they were unable to hurt the infants of the children of Yasharel, so the people increased and waxed exceedingly. They went deep into their earth. Wow. And Pharaoh ordered his officers daily to go to the Goshen to seek for the babies of the children of Yasharel. And when they had sought and found one, they took it, and from its mother bosom by force, and threw it into the river. But the female child they left with its mother. Thus did the Egyptians to the Israelites, the Yahudim, all the days. And that's the end of chapter 67. All right, we're going to finish that up there at 65, 66, and 67. All right, cool. And on the next read, when we get back, 69 is very short, so we're going to definitely go 68, 69, 70, and maybe 71. I don't know. Yeah, possibly. That's very possible looking at it right now. But right now, we just finished up this little dive. Thanks for riding with me on this road trip for this scripture read, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers, Akeem and Akatim, my brothers and my sisters. All right, it's good to have y'all with me. All right. So, until we speak again, until we meet again, right, be safe out here. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to your homes, your dwelling places, your children, your loved ones, your friends, and your pets, right? Your little fur babies. All that good stuff that you need in your life, Mishpakat. All right, I love that for you, man. I want that for you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, no further ado. I'm going to see you soon. All praises to the Most High. I love you. Yeah.
Bedroom Studios.